We the People, celebrating 250 years of America. Sponsored by Garza Law Firm.
The city of Oak Ridge became a powerhouse during World War II with almost no one knowing about it. It's the first city picked in the Manhattan Project to help change warfare forever.
Developing the atomic bomb, essentially what ended the war. A lot of work was done right here in East Tennessee. Fascinating stuff. Here's our Jared Austin.
80 years ago now, there wasn't much going on in the Oak Ridge area.
There wasn't anything here but scattered farmland.
As the war continued overseas, people noticed some things going on stateside, specifically in what we know as Oak Ridge today.
The people of the surrounding communities here noticed strangers in the valley. Those strangers were surveyors. They were surveying their property.
Farmers, Native Americans, forced from their land by use of eminent domain. No one knew, though, what they were building there.
They had to be out on a short notice. That was a devastating thing, you can imagine.
Don Honeycutt is a volunteer at the Oak Ridge History Museum. He knows it pretty well, not just from research, but because he lived it. Honeycutt grew up in Oak Ridge during the World War II era. His father-in-law, the official photographer for the Manhattan Project, James Edward Westcott.
Growing up in Oak Ridge was quite an experience. We didn't have to lock our doors or cars because in the early days, this was a fenced-in community and ran by the military.
A rural community turned nuclear site overnight to help with building the 2 atomic bombs. With a project of this magnitude during the war, a key piece of it is pretty simple. The secret city had to live up to its name.
You might be working with somebody right next to you, you just didn't talk about it, because we had a lot of FBI agents here, and they were everywhere. Certain words like uranium and other words related to a bomb would be prohibited for you to say.
Oak Ridge has ties to both atomic bombs used during the war. Y-12 enriched the uranium for the first bomb, the Little Boy, dropped on Hiroshima 80 years ago Wednesday. The second bomb, called Fat Man, used plutonium.
Plutonium was discovered and had to be man-made, and that bomb design was much more complex. You had to implode a sphere of plutonium.
So where's the first place we found out it was possible to make plutonium? Oak Ridge National Lab's graphite reactor, at the time called X-10.
It was an experimental facility. They worked, they produced the material. Scientists at Los Alamos figured out how to make it into bombs.
After Oak Ridge's work finding it was possible, the plutonium used in the second bomb was made in Washington. 3 days after the first bomb, the Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki, ultimately leading to the Japanese surrender. Reactions stateside were a little mixed.
So the people was pretty happy, really in shock of what they found out they were doing.
It was over, a huge relief, but then a sense of sadness or the gravity of realizing that the bomb killed so many people when it was dropped on Japan. So there were these mixed emotions, but on balance, a recognition that this seemed necessary to end the war and to bring peace to the world.
As World War II came to a close, more of the work was just beginning in Oak Ridge and still continues today. ORNL now makes pieces to help with cancer treatment, allow for space exploration on Mars, and provide nuclear energy across the country.
We are trying to push the envelope and tackle those problems that are exceedingly difficult, and we might fail several times before we get to the answer, but that's the mission that we pursue at Oak Ridge National Lab.
From changing the history of warfare to life-saving work, Oak Ridge's mission still stands strong on helping the United States in the future.
A lot of people do ask, okay, how did it get to Oak Ridge? But it is kind of fascinating how Oak Ridge became the site of the project, Jared.
Yeah, you had several different factors. You talk about Norris Dam opening up a couple years before this. Then, as we know in Tennessee, we are landlocked. We are not near an ocean. And then at the time, Knoxville was not as big. So you had that idea that you weren't going to be near a big city. So those 3 factors right there made Oak Ridge the perfect spot to be the first city in the Manhattan Project, guys.
Incredible to see that history come to life. Jared, thanks.